Preaching on the yeah.
What is going on? What is good? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the one and only Rumboyz Fantasy Network. And this is the Goal Line Goons, your Tuesday night waiver wire and start sit show. We like to try and get ahead of the game, kind of like help get you guys all settled in and prepared early. It is Thanksgiving week. It is Thanksgiving week. So a lot of big matchups, a lot of big games. Very important matchups this week because everyone's back. We're not even going to have a bye week section. I'm just going to say now. All right. Everyone is back. You're fighting for playoffs. You're fighting to get in. You're on the precipice of getting in. We're going to get you right. We're going to get you prepared. We're going to make sure that you leave tonight's show with a full stomach. Tomorrow night will be AMA. Thursday, there are no streams. Okay. Everybody will be with their families. I would hope that you'd be with your families. All right. With that being stated, Taco, how are you doing, bro? Happy Tuesday.
I'm doing pretty good, man. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh. In one league I faced Gibbs, in another league I had Gibbs. So, one of those weeks.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I had the whole Daniel Jones effect. One league I had Daniel Jones, in another league I had to face Daniel Jones.
Bro, I was facing Emmanuel Wilson and Gibbs in one league, and by themselves they pretty much beat the whole fucking team. I was like, fuck. Oh my god, Sticky Ricky. Oh my god.
Fucking Sticky Ricky. Let's go ahead. Let's get into tonight's show. Let's get into tonight's conversation. The NFL made waves. First things first, cheers to me, cheers to you, all the Rum boys and girls. What it do, dilly dilly. Happy fucking holidays, As you mentioned,
yellow.
Huh?
To have agua con yellow.
As you mentioned, the NFL giveth and the NFL taketh. Let's start with what it taketh. The injury list. T. Higgins will be missing Thursday with a concussion. There's no way that he's going to be out there. He's going to suit up. It's just timetables just don't match up. Alvin Kamara out with a knee. That one interesting. It's not like Alvin Kamara was really doing a whole lot for fantasy teams in the first place. And I don't know how I feel about the backup situation, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Like we've talked about many of times throughout many of weeks, where we've had to mention one Devin Neal. Quinshon Judkins could possibly miss time with the concussion. We're waiting to see how that one, kind of turns up and turns out. See if he can clear protocol or not. But Judkins just looked like his typical self, and honestly, maybe even a little bit elevated better because now defenses have to key in on the dynamics of the quarterback situation, which we'll talk about. Nico Collins, that one hurts. That one seriously hurts fantasy managers out there. He's going to be missing some time with ribs. Could be maybe even leading right up until playoffs. So be on the lookout for the Nico Collins news. DK Metcalf injured his ankle, came back in the game, and it seemed like injured that same ankle. So not looking good for DK Metcalf. And then Baker Mayfield with a shoulder injury. He's been banged up. He's taken a couple licks throughout the season. Hopefully it's something to maybe where they can put in a sling. Maybe he can play through it. But it is looking a little bad for Baker Mayfield right now. Taco, injury report rundown. How you feeling?
Baker, the playmaker. That one kind of hurts because he affects that rest of that offense. I mean, Ibuka's been struggling a little bit. I don't know what this means for your other stops. You're hitting into key play territory. That one that's a big deal. DK, I mean, let's face it, he probably is watching Pickens all these fucking weeks and being like, bro, this man got more receiving yards than our whole team. Let me go put this shit on my back and show why I'm a megastar. And like you said, same ankle. Fuck, bro. Should have sat in the sidelines, get right. You know? Hopefully he's back in a week or two. But like you said, these are pivotal fucking weeks. So kind of sucks that sometimes these guys just don't take the knee and be like, all right, let me live to fight next week and not fuck this shit up worse. But this is the NFL and these guys are gladiators, so they ain't thinking like that. Judkins, it's interesting because Sampson caught that 64-yard touchdown. So
Sampson did catch the touchdown. The clip went dumb.
Yeah. So
81 likes in an hour.
Yo, and you know what's crazy? In the beginning of the season, while Judkins was getting ready, they were using him. Flacco was in that short receiving game, and he was getting good work. He was getting like 5-6 catches. So low key, I'm interested in Sampson if Judkins is down because of the way they use him in short passing.
No, Sampson is which we'll talk about in a little bit. Has definitely been an interesting, on and on again, add drop, throughout the season. So interested to see what that could look like rest of season. Again, I did mention it earlier at the top of the show. There are no bye weeks this week. Everyone is full a go. Before we get into the waiver wire, okay, Taco, give me what is one thing in fantasy football, a player or something or whatever the case, what is something that you have been thankful for this season? This season's been a weird one.
Drake London. Drake London has been everything I needed during a key stretch. So I'm really hoping. I was praying for that win so bad. I'm like, y'all gotta stay in this fucking playoff chase. Don't make them shut down Drake London. Don't make them shut him down. So I'm thankful for Drake London. I'm thankful for the Falcons getting that win. And at this point, I'm just hoping that if they don't play him this week, that they beat the Jets. And again, you set him to come back 1 week before the playoffs start. And give Drake London a chance to be that mega wide receiver one that he was playing like. Now, I know that we're going to have Cousins behind center instead of Penix, who has been fueling the birth of a mega wide receiver star. So I'm thankful for him, and I'm hopeful that we get a return of that hotline bling.
I am thankful for Daniel Jones. When I had lost Joe Burrow and my season was all but gone, Daniel Jones came right along. And I wasn't excited about it at first, but god damn, did it turn into gold. Fantasy football gold. Ended up picking him up around about week 3, week 4-ish time frame when Burrow went down. And as it stands right now, Daniel Jones is the QB8 overall in fantasy football. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that Daniel Jones would be QB8, if you would have told me that the AFC South would be as entertaining as it has became this season, I would have told you that you are drunk. But I am thankful for Daniel Jones, and I am thankful that the AFC South is like giving us like some fucking good football, because it's the NFL is a little bit of a better place because of it, in all honesty.
And I will say, one of the guys that you mentioned there, I'm thankful that Joe Burrow is such a boss ass dude that said, "No, no, 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 no. You're not shutting me down.
I'm not missing
I'm
game
coming
checks,
back
I
to
think
the
is what he
grind for
said.
8
I think it was, hey, I have a mansion that I still gotta fucking pay for.
bro. I'm just like, because I did trade for Joe Burrow last week in the anticipation of, all right, playoff Burrow, like you're gonna give me some fantasy magic, or we're gonna go down with the ship, baby boy. Let's fucking go.
Well, we'll see if he can give you fancy magic with some of the pieces that we are going to talk about here, because we do
I
have
mean,
some
'tis the
Bengals
season.
listed on this waiver wire report. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the waiver wire additions for week 13 by percentage own. There's a nice shiny toy to start this one off, okay? And I it's not necessarily pretty or anything like that, you know,
It'll get the job done.
but he's getting the job done. He's silently QB 13 on the year, and that's Trevor Lawrence. Even if I am heading into the playoffs and I am having doubts about my backup quarterback situation, I think that this is a okay cure to said situation. I'm actually like warming up to the idea of like he's getting better. He's understanding the NFL. I'm warming up to the idea of maybe removal of these nice shiny objects of a Travis Hunter or a BTJ in these last few weeks has actually been beneficial for Trevor Lawrence, because it just resulted in it, instead of him having to force the ball to like, like these big play, big name type of guys, he's able to just go out there and, hey, you got to play fucking football and win football games with what you have. And it's working for him. It's working for him. Threw for 3 TDs in week 12. Is he gonna give you that all the time? No. Is there gonna be plenty of weeks where it's gonna be ugly? Yes. But also, like, I mean, he wins games down the stretch, and those are garbage time points, and garbage time points are going to be very valuable in fantasy football. So I'm actually in on Trevor Lawrence, like, not just as a like oh, like I lost my quarterback like situation like type of deal, like, like I'm not just saying this like to the person that lost Baker Mayfield. I'm saying this to like anyone that is like actually seriously doubting their backup quarterback situation. This isn't bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's terrible. I mean, all things considered, on a weekly basis, you never know. R.I.P. to Garbage Time Jameis, legend as always. One of those things. Every week's a little different.
Absolutely, absolutely. Next up, I think I'm just throwing this out there to throw it out there. Shador Sanders, he's 5% rostered. Of course, that rostership is going to be dynasty league. So let's not, like, from like a redraft standpoint, read too heavy into the number there.
In redraft, the 4 a.m. I got to get something before I leave the club.
With Shador, I'm not going out there and adding him in leagues. But, well, I played Dynasty, so like I already also
1 week of practice?
I already have. Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say. For 1 week of practice, he still definitely looked like a rookie. He's a rookie. That's to be expected. For 1 week of fucking practice for a rookie, he looked better than all of the other rookie options at quarterback that we have seen this year. In one game, Jackson Dart has been great. Yeah. For the expectations of This quarterback class wasn't great. We already knew that it wasn't going to be great. We knew that it wasn't going to be, especially after what the last couple of years of quarterback classes, last like 4-5-ish years have given us. We knew that this one was going to be an anomaly, and especially of the way that the fallout of how this one kind of worked out, landing spots with a lot of the guys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We know how things played out. Yes, Shedeur definitely looked better than JJ. And you can consider this being JJ's rookie year. That is a very fair assessment to state. With that being said, and with that being stated, no, I'm not adding him on fantasy teams just because that right now there are better options. And at the end of the day, that is still Cleveland. But I was impressed. I was impressed with given the context of 1 week of practice. Your coach, even after the win, really couldn't even look you in the fucking eyes. Didn't even give you a fucking game ball. And to see how and to see, huh?
We gotta stop this 1 second. Why was that? You could easily just take 2 fucking balls. Like that is some bullshit, bro.
Bro, it's the culture that comes down to culture. That comes down to culture. Look, how many times have just scrolling social media have you seen Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell handing out like fucking 4, 5 game balls, because like it's a team effort, So I mean,
it's the first rookie in 20 years to win their first start with the fucking Browns, and you're gonna be like, "Good job, bro." Bro, talk about something like. Also, from a marketing media standpoint, it's such a fuck up because, like, the clips of Shedeur are going fucking viral because the internet and the hood is sitting there like, "Yo, give my boy some run." You know what I mean? A little speech talking to him, let him do a little yippity yappity. I mean, you monetize that shit, bro. I don't understand what they're doing.
That the Browns, and I don't know if it's necessarily a Browns because just by the way that things looked in that locker room after that, with Stefanski and how Stefanski handled that situation, it's a culture thing. That's why I'm saying, from a fantasy football standpoint, I do believe that those things kind of go into it, hand in hand. I do worry. Like it's one of those weird things where it's like you would love to have Stefanski in your corner, like if you're any other quarterback, you want, but if you're Shedeur, you know that this guy does not like you, and he's not in your corner, and he does not have your best interest at heart.
This right now is Will Smith with his dad in Fresh Prince. Uncle Phil, why don't he want me,
bro? Look, all respect for Quinshon Judkins. He's a great running back, and I love that the Browns have figured out a 1-2 punch with him and Sampson. The Wildcat shit, you're trying to make sure that Shedeur doesn't throw for the fucking touchdowns. You're trying to make sure that he doesn't rush in for it because you know what that's going to do and what that fanfare is going to cause. And then as soon as he did complete one, you saw how that building erupted. You saw when he completed, although Judy had his knocked away, but you saw it with his multiple big play down the field passes.
I mean, but also let's not forget that
no one else was giving you that since Baker Mayfield.
How does your backup quarterback this late in the season have 0 reps until last week with the first team? That's malpractice because again, your quarterback can get hurt at any single time. So he should have had at least a 10% go through with the starters kind of thing from at least the last couple of weeks. So again, they don't want him.
So I do worry about that a little bit, but it's definitely something to think about. What up, Frizz? Sam Darnold, we keep throwing him out there. I know that he hasn't been great per se. Like it's been up and down. It's been up and down. But here's the thing with Sam Darnold: all of his pieces come back healthy this week. The whole roster is healthy offensively. with that being said and stated, defensively also Quadre Diggs is reuniting with the defense. So that defense is going to be even nastier than what it already has been, which is going to create even more opportunities for Darnold to get the ball. He had a good rebound last week, which because of that rebound, I feel like that it is time for us to be able to go ahead and elevate Darnold back onto rosters. So glad someone dropped Sam Darnold, have him stashed as a backup for Drake May. I love that for you. Darnold, kind of hand kind of that I was talking about with T-Law. These are guys that I'm wanting to be able to have as backups heading into the playoffs. In case, i.e., the Baker Mayfield situation that just took place that we just talked about. If you are in a situation and you need in the playoffs, there is no more. There's no trading. I mean, okay, unless like your league has some weird rules, but there's for the most part, traditionally speaking, there's no trading. It's you're riding out with what you have, and you need to make sure that you have the strongest of what you can have or what's available out there. Lawrence only rostered in 40% of leagues. Darnold only rostered in 38% of leagues. Go and get these guys. Why would you not want a quarterback that's also associated with JSN?
That sucks.
So that's what we have for the quarterbacks. Getting into the running backs. This first one, I'm shocked that there's still for many people about a 55% chance that they can go and grab him, and that's Kenny Gainwell. Kenny Gainwell is going off and is silently, very, 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 very silently a flex league winner. He is absolutely like I will gladly throw Gainwell into my flex more weeks than not. I have, in all honesty, there is a league where it is very deep rosters, and it is a dynasty league, and Kenny Gainwell for the better half of the season has been either RB2 or been in my second flex spot in that league. And he has actually been profitable.
And why is he profitable? We'll go back to Taco's number one theory with running backs in fantasy football. He's a pass catcher. Gives him a safe floor. He has touchdown upside. Gives him a high ceiling. He's the kind of guy where it's like, at minimum, you expect like 8 points, 9 points. You can fucking deal with that. Then there's weeks that he goes off. Why? Because he gets more run. We're not seeing the best work out of Jaylen Warren. He's okay. It's not great, and this is opening up 1, goal line situations for Kenny Gainwell, and 2, significant pass catching opportunities, which again, these are the pathways I say to fantasy relevance. It ain't gotta be pretty, but if it's gritty, it's for me.
Hey y'all, question: would you trade away Javonte, Franklin, Bowers to get JT, Sutton, and Gadsden? See, when you talk about bringing over JT, that's where it's like, oh man, fuck yeah. But I also kind of wonder what makes you want to. I mean, outside of getting JT, I mean, Sutton is kind of fighting 1A, 1B with Franklin at this given point. I understand wanting to acquire. Actually, I understand probably wanting to move off of Bowers and acquire Gadsden just because the Raiders don't even there's not much fantasy viability to maintain stability for the Raiders. So like I kind of in a way understand that. He hauled in 6 passes. I mean, he's tight end 9, but it's not like it's like super impressive. I mean, and tight end is just whatever. Like realistically, when we really talk about it, Gadsden's tight end 18.
I'm not gonna lie.
Been trending down. He's been trending down.
His top end upside is just so much higher than everyone else's. This man can pop off a 40 piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Playoffs, which I'm assuming
exactly
you're trading. Yeah, you got because Franklin to me is better. Bowers or Sutton. Bowers is so hit or miss that it's like I'm not going to say that Bowers isn't better, but he's a wild card, you know.
Franklin and Sutton are right there, neck and neck.
Yep. Although I'd rather have Franklin, to be honest, but
I'd rather have Franklin.
The difference between Javonte and JT is worth it. And then
That's
Bowers for God's Gatson, it's like, again, it's one of those situations of it is a significant potential, but they're not realizing that potential on a week-to-week basis. So it makes it more of a lotto ticket than a consistent thing.
My running backs are Kyron Jacobs, Javonte, Emmanuel Wilson, Corum. my wide receivers are JSN, Lamb, Franklin, Watson, Godwin, Reed on IR.
Yeah, you're gonna run a mega threesome.
I almost feel like he doesn't need to make it. This is a trade where it's like you're just really moving pieces to like get JT, but you don't really need to do it.
Again, I'm gonna say the top end potential of JT makes this deal worth it for me because he could score 40. All of those guys together could score 40. You know, like you can get 15 from Javonte, 10 from Bowers, and 10 from Franklin, and next thing you know, that's like fucking 35. And
you're 8-4. Don't do anything. Nope. Now that I know that, yeah, you're 8-4. You don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. You're good. You're good.
I'm out of the Bauer stocks.
Yeah.
I look at that as a championship move.
Maintain
I was like when I consolidated for Bijan. Can't play everyone. Remember that.
Getting back to the waiver wire. First said he couldn't get Gainwell, so he managed to snag Devin Neal a few minutes before kickoff. Devin Neal is 2% available in leagues with Kamara being out. How do you feel about this situation here? I'm going to be honest. I'm not in.
I'm going to go back to the Kenneth Gainwell theory, or as I like to say it, path relevance in PPR. He is a volume running back that doesn't have competition. Probably going to get goal line touches, and I think he had 5 catches in his last game. What that means to me is that you need a flex, you need something desperate. He's a guy I would take a shot at.
No worries, Kendaholic. Yeah, for me, Devin Neal is probably like the lowest one on this list. I actually haven't written in lowest on the list, but for his ball, so I went ahead and I moved the order around. I'm out on Devin Neal. I'm really just kind of out on the Saints. Anything that's not Olave. Breathe, damn it. Breathe. Holy fuck, Taco. Don't die. God damn it. Turn your camera off for a second. God damn it. Shit.
Jesus. Is that Jesus?
Yeah, I feel like you just damn near met him. Chris Rodriguez, 15% rostered. It seems like that this is going to be who the clear cut, I won't say like one is, but like who's going to be getting like most of the volume in that backfield. Again, this is more of like I'm desperate play. This one that I really do like here though is Dylan Sampson. You also hit the fucking mute on your mic. My God.
How can you hear me? That shit is muted, right?
I know you can hear me, but we can hear you.
Still?
Lamb and Wandell for Puka. Bo Singleton. I feel like I would do that, but I mean, look at the way that Lamb is balling out. Look at the way that Wandell's like balling out. I understand that Lamb may have had curious case of some weird drops this last outing, but those two are putting up fucking firepower, But I understand that it is Puka. I almost feel like I lean towards keeping the two.
Lamb has become T. Higgins.
Dallas has found their George Pickens, but they've already paid CD that money.
Yeah, but I think you probably can move off a CD.
Pickens doesn't. I don't think Pickens wants to be there. I don't think Pickens.
No, when you put those kind of numbers, bro. I don't know. I heard the food down there is pretty good. That's Luca.
I don't think Pickens wants to stay here. Pickens be when shit. Pickens be maybe crashing the fuck out. I don't know. That situation is weird. That situation is weird because he couldn't.
I just
Wandale
love
don't
how
play. Wandale be balling. They're gonna be getting Jackson Dart back down the stretch. I mean,
Wandale
I
is
understand the
he's a
Giants
slot.
are eliminated, and but Wandale was balled last week. He said Texas
He's a
makes
slot
food.
receiver.
You're
I think
fat.
that makes it safe. I think again it depends on your team. If you're deep, I would take the shot because Puka's top end value is fucking nuts. But that is a lot to give up. Yes.
Is
No.
Dak and Jay
Quarterbacks are
Daniels good enough to try and win a championship, or should I piece and try and move up? Move up what?
quarterback rank.
Like
I get a
at
better
this
quarterback.
at this point of the season, trade deadline
I
should
don't
be
know if it's worth
done.
it.
Yeah, trade deadline should be done.
Even still, Jaden Daniels' upside is worth it. Like you're not really getting a potential higher than what Jaden Daniels' upside would be. So that's like a trade
Dak.
for you.
You're not getting better than Jaden nor Dak.
Dak is like what you would expect Joe Burrow to be. So again,
It's
I would
tomorrow. Okay,
I
trade
would ride
deadline
with
for
Dak
you and
until
tomorrow.
Jaden Daniels is fully showing you that he's good enough to get in your lineup because Dak is out here balling.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine there. You're fine there. But no, as far as the Lamb Wandale for Puka, like I understand it, but I also understand keeping the other two and having that balance there. Where was I? Oh, Dylan Sampson, who I was talking about. What I like about Dylan Sampson is should anything happen to Judkins, they're going to go to Sampson. They're also going to utilize him in the passing game. It seems like Stefanski is now, or just kind of from what I saw, despite like whatever took place in the locker room, it seems like he's embracing a 1-2 punch combination, being more dynamic, with some of the play calling that he is going to be able to do with Sanders, because let's face it, he was doing things. And even when he inserted Sanders after the concussion of Dylan Gabriel, we started seeing the playbook already kind of change. That looked more like a fucking Stefanski playbook, if we're going to be honest. So if we are getting a traditional version of Stefanski, then there is going to be the ability for not just Judkins but Sampson to also be involved in this passing attack. So or in this backfield attack, and then also be heavily utilized in the passing game. So Dylan Sampson is actually kind of fascinating as we get down the stretch. Wide receivers. Jaden Higgins. Jaden Higgins has been making a name for himself. Wide receiver out of Houston. Just when I thought that it wasn't gonna be Higgins, and I thought that they were more so leaning towards leaning towards Xavier Hutchinson, it appears that Higgins is making a name for himself. Is Higgins still going to maintain that with Stroud? I think that is yet to be determined.
CC Mac Jones and BJT. Everyone was like, "Oh, BJT now he's back with Lawrence. He's gonna eat." No.
I mean, I don't know. He's really only had 2 games. He's only had 2 games. Week 8, 3 games. Week 8, week 10, week 12.
I like his upside, but again, it's just one of those things where once CJ Stroud comes back, you don't necessarily know who he's gonna jive with. There's some risk involved here in this kind of a scenario where he does have good upside, but you can't draw correlation from one quarterback to another. When we see, again, I'll go back to the Lawrence and Mac Jones with BTJ. One guy's able to make him look like a first rounder while the other one makes him look undraftable. So, choose your fighter wisely.
Jaden Reed could be making an appearance potentially Thursday. He's available in 38% of leagues.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if that Packers offense can finally become something of a high-powered offense that we thought it would be. So that team has been so disappointing. I personally would give him a wait and see approach, just because of how bad the Packers passing offense has been, in my opinion.
It has been abysmal. It has been terrible. I don't know how I feel about grabbing Jaden Reed, but if it's anything like Christian Watson, who you got a 50-50 chance at getting on the waiver wire, it seems like the theme for the Packers this year is guys get hurt, come back, and now they start fucking popping off again. So maybe Reed is the go-to if he should step back out there Thursday. If not, maybe this is more of a stash play as you get into the playoffs, which I wouldn't mind. And that also allows me to toss in Christian Watson, who is also available on the waiver wire, 50% waiver wire availability. We have a couple more receivers here before we get into tight ends. Andre Iosovas, Yoshi.
We already know. Opportunity breeds. Yep.
Burrow's supposed to be coming back.
Listen, it's not the easiest play because it is a risk involved, but like they say, is the juice worth the squeeze, especially with Joe Burrow coming back? I think so. He might be a little check down Charlie to start off. You never know.
He's going to have to step into T. Higgins' role
after stepping into Chase's role.
Yeah. I mean, and we saw what he was able to do and what he was capable of. Obviously, with whenever T. Higgins had also went out last week. So I am confident in Yoshi. I feel like Yoshi's probably the more like stable one to go with out of the waiver wire options that we've discussed. But I do just kind of want to shout out the fact that Mitchell Tinsley in deep play. I want to see the Bengals get him worked out more. I mean, because every time that they go in his direction and they've asked him, to step up to the call of duty, he's definitely answered the fucking call. John Mechie, former Texan, now Jet. I like Mechie low key. I just don't know if I got the kahunas to go and get him on my fantasy team just due to the fact that he is a Jet, and it's just like with the amount of options that I could be able to go and get, I could probably not have to deal with that offense. I probably could find, a player with a little bit of a stable floor, Yoshi, or someone else, and not have to deal with the Jets off. Like, it's so but I want to because I'm a fan of him.
Remember the number one thing in fantasy: opportunity is everything. And this man could have a 40% target share. They are trying to see what he is before the offseason. Low key, this is what waiver wire dreams are made of. You know what I mean? And yes, he's on a bad team. And you know what that means? Negative game scripts, baby. Fourth quarter down. Just throw that ball. You sucked for 3 quarters and you got 5 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown on the final drive. Let's go.
No.
That's exactly right. The Kevin Loves have always delivered for fantasy football and basketball and all the other sports. Give me a good player on a garbage team that likes to accumulate numbers. Give me the numbers.
I'm not doing it. I want to, and I agree with you. Like I agree with you. This is one of those, might be a bad team, might be able to be something. I don't know. I definitely do want to see this from afar. this is one of those from like afar. I want to just see how it plays out. Just let me see, you know, kind of towards the end. This is one of those kind of how I did Carolina last year. I was like, oh, there's something building here, you know, like like, you know, and I kind of like roll that. Like, I think that this could be, you know, like the player, like, you know, like version
Robbie,
of that.
just remember to quote Lady Gaga: Russian roulette is not fun if you don't have a gun. You know what I mean? It's not as fun if you don't got a loaded one in that bitch.
I'm good on that. You know, so nah. Jameer Dyke is the definition of everything that I just said. Everything that I just said.
You know what's fucking funny? I had Boutier, I had Spears, and I had Dike, whatever his name is, right? And I'm like, I applied to your theory. I was like, oh my god, just Cam Ward and everything. They're so bad. Safer to start Pollard. Yada yada yada. Long story short, I regret not playing DK because again, the theory of volume always seems to fucking save the day. And you know, fuck you, Tajay Spears. You're done. And DK, you got saved by having a return touchdown. That's a fucking nice 6 point.
And that's what it is realistically with DK is that he is heavily touchdown. The offense is so bad as an entity, like as a fucking full on entity, that he, despite being good, is touchdown dependent.
Yes.
And I can't roll with that. I'm not relying on that. I'm not relying on you fucking returning goddamn kick sixes to win me week in, week out. Like, no, like it's just not a player that you can trust. I want to see what that team does in the offense though. And then to round out the wide receivers, Calvin Austin. This should always, anytime that you hear that DK is injured, this should always be your immediate pivot is, okay, I need to go and pick up Calvin Austin. I need to go see if Calvin Austin's available. Luckily for you, he is available about 15% of leagues. So we know that he'll be Aaron Rodgers' go-to.
I will say, fire up Gainwell if you have a chance to play Gainwell or Austin. Because again, the way that he likes to throw that ball, he's a much better flex option.
Yes, we know they have 3 tight ends. We're also doing a wide receiver segment.
Yes, and those tight ends are not relevant because they're so spread out.
They're so spread out and it's so sporadic.
Rodgers is so unfantasy friendly right now.
Mm-hmm.
I wish
getting into the tight ends. Harold Fannin at 40% roster. Now check it out. What have I always said about tight ends? What is their best friend? A rookie quarterback. A rookie quarterback's best friend is a tight end. Age-old philosophy. And I feel like that we definitely saw that. I get that it was only a 12.4 fantasy week on the week for Fannin. He breaks maybe a couple of those loose. And we're looking at maybe, you know, a little bit higher of a score if he can get some yak on top of that. Shador's ball placement is better than that of what Fannin has had to deal with throughout the season. Aside from Flacco.
That sounds horrible.
And then, again, that was short-lived as fuck because Flacco at 40 years old, his arm can only do so much. It's called being old.
Fannin, I'm sorry you have to hear about the ball placement, sir.
With that being said, I do like Fannin. I mean, he's
already been flexible.
Yeah, all season. But I get that they have a tough matchup against San Fran, but they do get Tennessee, Chicago, whose defense allows fucking fantasy points out the ass. It is going to be tough against Buffalo, but I mean, if this offense can actually turn things around, he has actually been pretty stable throughout the season, despite
And
being
if he's
stuck in a
playing in the
bad
slot,
offense.
that tends to be a PPR um darling type position because again, you get some short catches in, 6 catches for 60 yards is 12 points. You don't have to have an amazing day. You don't have to get a touchdown. And you're still putting up double-digit points from a tight end and I'm getting off the waiver wire this late. That's a win.
Asking if Gesicki's a sneaky start.
It's not like Hunter Henry sneaky. That motherfucker.
The only reason why I could say yes is because like no T Higgins, but no.
You know who I
Yes.
think is a better sneakier start?
Hang on.
That next guy that he says, and that
Hang
guy,
on. Hey,
one of
we
the
have
guys
a
on our list.
list. We have a list. We have a list.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know.
Thank you.
I didn't say it.
I
queued it up.
I'll just move to that now. Yes, Brenton Strange is back, 10% rostered. We started kind of seeing him, last week make a little bit of appearance. But he is back. I do expect for that, for the motion to get back in for the ocean to get back in motion. With
and
Brenton
there's
Strange.
no like Robbie said, some of these bigger name receivers that had been sucking the air out of the room per se aren't there. There's no Hunter, BTJ. We don't even know what's going on with him, if he's going to play, if he's not going to play. But Strange was being a solid guy, especially in PPR formats that, I would take a shot at over a guy like Gesicki, just because, again, I've seen rapport with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence right now is playing like QB 13, and you add back a end zone at third down type target like that. That's great for PPR.
Colson Loveland, 40% rostered.
I think
what I like about Loveland is the volume in the Bears offense is how much they pass. They pass a fuck ton. But
there's a lot of mouths to feed.
Excuse me. Exactly. And that's where I shy away from, where I'm like, okay, let me go after Fannin. Let me go after Strange. Like, just because the offense is prolific doesn't mean that it supports his ability to go out there and eat. He did have a great fantasy outing, this last week, but he also put the ball on the fucking ground. Or no, he had a TD this last fantasy outing. I don't know why I said he put the ball on the ground. He didn't put the ball on the ground. He was 5 for 4, 49 yards. So I mean, it's not dazzling. It's not dazzling. It's okay floor.
It's the desperation hope. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's Princess Leia reaching out to Obi-Wan saying, "Help me, you're the only one."
Like, he could go out there and he could very well like put up like 10 to 13 points. And like it could be like 10 or 13 that where like it helps you win, but it could be like that 10 to 13 that also like you fucking lose by. So that's where I don't really like the Colson Loveland play. There's others, I feel like I'd go out there and play. And then also Isaiah Likely, 8% rostered. Are we warming up to Isaiah Likely in Baltimore? And, he only had one catch versus the Jets, bro.
I'm not sold on just that offense in general. Lamar is not looking like Lamarvelous, which is cause to pause. I'm not sold. You still, Mark Andrews, from my understanding, is still healthy, still there. Last year we felt like that was
King Henry's
a position that he was like trying to make for himself on the field. The magic just isn't there this year. Playing
Likely's
him is
not
just
likely.
purely scratching a lotto ticket.
Yeah.
It's just a pure lotto ticket that you're hoping that, hey, I might hit a touchdown, but nah.
He said avoiding their tight ends nasty.
Marvelous right now in balling.
Things all NFL fans must accept Week 12 edition. Offensively and defensively, respectfully, JSN and Myles Garrett will break single season records.
Myles Garrett, without a question, that man is a fucking on a mission. I think in the last 4 games he has like 14 sacks or some stupid shit. Like, it's like nuts the amount of sacks he's gotten in his last 4 games. Looking at JSN, he's like broken the team's record already.
Yeah,
like he has the team's record for most receiving yards for a season. So there's that. Like, my man is just sitting back saying, like, you motherfuckers can't stop me. And Sam Darnold saying, all right, I'll throw it to you, baby. I ain't gonna worry about no ghost. So,
yep.
you know, I'm liking what I'm seeing there. JSN must be a ghostbuster because he's keeping Darnold safe. And I see that going for until it doesn't. And why I say that, look at Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson right now is begging for Sam Darnold. He's begging. He's like, even give me Carson fucking Wentz. I'm stuck here in purgatory. So yeah, JSN is gonna leapfrog past, like I expect him to put up something you would expect from Justin Jefferson, and you would expect Justin Jefferson to be able to lead the league in receiving because 1, talent, 2, because opportunity. And that's exactly what JSN is, because he's always had the talent. Now he has the opportunity.
It's always fascinating how, like, of course, obviously, like in real world, philosophy and day-to-day, we always say like history repeats itself, et cetera, et cetera. But like, in NFL terms, I mean, you mentioned JSN to be in, that franchise receiving record, category with names like Steve Largent. I mean, who is the greatest Seattle Seahawk of all time? As far as receivers go.
Broadcast.
Yeah,
like, he has more receiving yards than Joey Galloway, than Jerry Rice.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, these guys are like 40. He was like, that's one thing about Seattle. They're not known for their wide receivers. So, he definitely is the best.
I mean, hey, Steve Largent is one of the greatest to ever play the game. So
he is, but that was from a different generation where they don't get the air yards that they get now.
It is a little bit different. And then I mean, as far as Myles Garrett, I mean, it's so dope to hear, someone like of Michael Strahan's status go on record and be like, well, record, it was nice knowing you while I had you. And just kind of, on record, go out there and be like, hey, like this is what it's meant for. It's meant for the fall. Who do I drop for Neil? Burden, Jordan Mason, Tootin, Corum. I have Kyron. I don't know if you drop anyone for Neil. Tootin's better than Neil. Burden's better than Neil. Jordan Mason's better than Neil. Corum's better. All of your options are better than Devin Neal.
I mean, do you need a starter? This Luther Burden?
Yeah.
If that's Luther Burden, yes, I'll drop Luther Burden.
But even still, like Luther Burden's probably even with Devin Neal starting, like even with Devin Neal starting, like it's just
I just think there's too many mouths in Chicago to justify Burden over the volume upside of Neal.
I'll say that out of those options, Burden is probably the one that I would drop for Neal. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not in a rush to go and get Devin Neal just because I know what I'm gonna get. Like, if I'm playing Devin Neal, it's because I just need a warm body to fulfill the spot, and I just can't take a 0 there.
What Devin Neal reminds me of, it's y'all remember the episode of Family Guy where they go for the mystery box? I mean, it could be a boat, and I'll take the mystery box. That's kind of what you get with Devin Neal. You don't know what you're gonna get. You're hoping to get a boat, but you're probably not.
Devin Neal breakout week, that would be something.
It's possible. Again, he can get 6 catches with a touchdown and 10 rushes for like 30 yards. And it looks ugly as shit, but that touchdown saves his day. That's the Kevin Love effect, as we were saying before. Like, he's just a product of volume. He's not a great player. He's no one that you would take for a long term. But when the opportunity presents itself, some people find their way to plod themselves into the end zone. You know, we've seen this happen in fantasy football, particularly around
it's gonna
playoff
take
time.
that. It's gonna, and honestly, it's gonna take that. It's either gonna take that, or either he's gonna have to have like a hundo on the ground.
Yeah. I bank on him getting
Like,
6 catches more. You know what I mean? That like 6, 7 catches is what you're hoping for from him, to be honest. I'm not even really
if he could
looking
get
at
me,
his record.
if he could get me 50 through the air, a TD, 30, 40 on the ground, I'd be like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
Like okay.
And he needs
You
to
know,
do it with 5, 6 catches. He can't do it with 2 catches. That shit will hurt. Like
but
them
like
catches add up, bro.
add up. Yeah,
Those
exactly.
are like bodies. Like you're like body, body. Like you know what I mean? Like every catch, bro. Like this is like when you used to get what is it? Like Austin Eckler or Edelman, where these fucking PPR merchants would just be like, cheat code, I'm gonna get 70 yards with 9 catches.
Yeah. Shador Sanders should remain QB1 for the remainder of the season. Yes.
I mean, we've seen
There's no way they can go backwards. Yeah,
and you know what? From a marketing endorsement, selling jerseys, TV revenue, selling commercials, every single part of it is yes. 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 There's no reason to put Dylan Gabriel out there. At best, he's a backup. You've seen him long enough to know. At best, you're a backup. Just like Kendrick Persons on fucking any talk show. At best, he's a backup.
Kendrick Perkins said he's the most influential man since 08 Obama. That shit was wild.
Bro.
How much fab for Neil? Any other waiver wires I should target? Samson, you should be targeting.
I'd rather Samson than
Samson is who you should
Neil
be targeting
because of the injury.
Yeah,
Rodriguez, I think, has the best long term because seemingly he is getting the full role. He had some pass catches. He is getting goal line rushes. He's morphing himself into an interesting end of the season player.
And I'd be going about 10%, like no more. But it would not be Devin Neal that I'd be going for. If it's Devin Neal that I'm going for, I'm throwing out like 5% fab. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
it's not a rush. I'm not breaking bank for it.
And Carter, if you're talking about Michael Carter, I will put 0% because Benson should be back. He practiced twice last week, and I expect him to. He already opened his window. I don't foresee them not playing him this week.
The Vikings will have a new QB1 next season.
There is no fucking way that they're going to go into that season with only having JJ McCarthy on it. When you've seen what Kevin O'Connell has done with quarterbacks and how bad JJ McCarthy is playing, there is no fucking way that you don't get yourself Zach Wilson or someone else because he's a QB. I mean, look at what Carson Wentz was doing, for God's sakes. Look at what Sam Darnold was doing, for God's sakes. Like, go trade for Jameis Winston. Go get yourself a Zach Wilson. Go get someone. Please, God, don't do this to O'Connell. He could figure it out, just not with JJ. JJ, maybe he needs more seasoning.
I am going to give the football answer, which Leafs just put there. Tree just put there. It's quarterback development in the NFL takes time. You knew what you were doing, and I've said this plenty of times. You knew what you were doing when you tied yourself to JJ McCarthy. It's the same thing that Tennessee accepted when they tied themselves to Cam Ward. It is the same thing. It is the same thing that Cleveland has to accept with both of their quarterbacks. It is the same thing. Stop. I'm not done. It is the same thing that the Giants have to accept with Jackson Dart. It's the same thing that Washington has to accept with Jaden Daniels, that the Texans have to accept with CJ Stroud. It is a developmental process. You aren't just out of there in 1 year. Last year doesn't count. He was injured.
And here's where the difference is, I believe, in Minnesota and with that team. Like he had with Carson Wentz rolling, he doesn't have to get a superstar quarterback. He doesn't have to exalt a draft pick. What he can do is he can get a solid veteran who can come in and compete with him. And if he looks better to start the season, hey, kid, you're on the bench. Here's the clipboard. You're still going to get practice reps. We're still going to develop you. But right now, you're not NFL ready, and we're not going to do this to Justin Jefferson again, because that would be franchise malpractice to let Justin Jefferson have 2 years of no production because you have no quarterback, and that's how you lose Jefferson, and the whole team goes to shit because you over-invested in a guy that can't beat out
So that's
a
where the
veteran
business
that you're going
side
to have
comes
to bring
into
in.
play. That's where the business side comes into play. I agree with you bringing in a veteran.
Particularly with O'Connell's history, I feel like he would be able to get like even if he got a fucking Gardner Minshew type, I think they would be able to go to the playoffs with that and not have to necessarily derail his development because this guy's not a long-term option at quarterback. It gives JJ a shot to keep learning. Like you said, quarterback development takes time. So let O'Connell keep working with them on the sidelines and on the practice fields and let a real quarterback come in and show him. This is how you make the throw, young man.
I think that it has to be a situation of because of how much time it has already been lost, mostly because of injury and not getting out there and getting real-time reps. It has to be a very much situation of how New York handled it. You're the veteran. You're going to go out there the first 3-4 weeks. After that, you now have to go out there. You're still here in case he fucks up or gets hurt. But you now have to go out there and you have to take over. Now you have it because you have to also think about the fact that you have to balance the books as well. You know, eventually, hate it or love it, Jefferson is out of there, irregardless or not. So either way, you have to get the quarterback situation settled and developed, especially while they're young. It is a little bit easier, I'll say, just because there aren't generational receivers aren't a dime a dozen, but it is easier to through free agency and the draft to put together a competent receiving core because there is more of them. You know, you have more to pick from. There's more to develop with quarterback. That's it. Like that needs to be a hit.
Look at what he did with Sam Darnold. Look at what he did with Carson Wentz. That's all I have to say there. I mean, if he would have given Daniel Jones a starting job off the riff, which again, Daniel Jones believed in himself, which you got to commend him all the stripes for because he went there because he knew he could win that job. You know, I think it's one of those situations where if you can get a solid, you know, guy that O'Connell feels like he can work with, come in and battle, bro. Because if I turn into the next Sam Darnold, I don't give a fuck what JJ McCarthy says he wants to be. I'm winning games, and that's the difference. Russell Wilson was not winning games. If you get, let's just say, hypothetically, a fucking Zach Wilson, right? And Zach Wilson starts winning games for you because he's able to figure it out under O'Connell. Bro, I'm not fucking switching back to JJ McCarthy until Zach Wilson proves that he can't do it. And I think that's a situation.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna. It's likely the person that you're bringing in is the next clipboard holder. They're just there to kind of help educate. What's up, boys? How do you feel about Hampton if he plays?
Personally,
Should I
don't
start
think
him or Harvey.
I think you get him someone.
If Hampton plays,
all aboard.
If Hampton plays, I am playing him. I am playing him with a expectation of what I saw from him at the beginning of the season without that offensive line being 100%. So take that for what it's worth. Just be aware. The Chargers aren't the Chargers without the offensive line. Harbaugh's big key secret to that running game is the offensive line. So start him, yes. I'm all aboard, yes. I am tempering my expectations, though, because I think that's just a smart thing to do in that situation.
I just think he'll be better than Harvey regardless. And I think that Hampton, I mean, I got burned by Sticky Ricky, but fuck, bro, I put a lot of capital into you, a lot of belief into you. We've weathered the storm. We're in the playoff chase. Come on, baby boy. Let's ride. Chargers country. Let's ride.
That's not how that goes.
But
one thing I will say about RJ Harvey is that coming off of the bye week against Washington, that is a start that I'm willing to definitely fucking fire up. Washington has no fucking defense. Harvey explodes in the receiving game. I wouldn't be shocked if he has one on the ground and he has one through the air. I would not be shocked. And that's coming from a Washington fan.
Yeah, Washington's really not good this year.
Hell no, we have fucking no one healthy. We are running an ER room. We aren't even running a fucking football team. We're fucking casting General Hospital. Geno Smith will be benched soon.
For who?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like, yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't think that Geno will be benched anytime soon.
They're riding him all the way to Mendoza, baby.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there is Aiden O'Connell, there is Pickett, but
they paid the bag, bro. Like after you fired your two coaches, like the headlines just will keep getting worse and worse. You just pray Geno figures it out.
That. Sometimes you just got to eat that. I mean, it's already fucking bad. I mean, then they turn around, they fire Chip Kelly. To me, that's signaling to where they're thinking like, hey, something has to be done at this point.
I will say this: maybe AOC is better for Brock because I mean we saw him do more work with AOC than he's doing with Geno. But overall, like, can you really say it's because like what you were saying?
It's not a Geno issue, so I don't get why are we benching Geno.
Geno on the film doesn't look that terrible. It's everything around him is shit.
Everything around him is fucking ass.
It's like, hey, I'm an average quarterback, but like, dude, like even a solid quarterback would have a lot of problems with what's going on.
Yeah, it's not going to make anything any better. The Bengals will miss the playoffs for a third consecutive season.
I mean, we're talking about an injury-riddled Burrow, but that division is still wide open, and you have a matchup versus the Ravens. If Joey B comes and delivers, ooh, baby, they open that window, and the great wide hope opens up.
I'm gonna say yes, that they do miss it. Just looking at the parity throughout the league at the given moment, I have to ride with the hot hand, and the hot hand is the rest of the fucking AFC against Cincinnati. Even with Burrow coming back, there's just too many glaring pieces that prevent Cincinnati from getting to that point. Joe Burrow is not good enough to overcome being coupled with the worst defense in the NFL.
But for fantasy purposes, that's fucking beautiful. That makes for garbage time.
We're talking about football, and the question wasn't.
I know. I just got to emphasize: for fantasy, it's great. In real life, it sucks.
Yeah,
fantasy show.
We taught both. Yep. Yeah, they would have to go undefeated the rest of the season, and hope Steelers and Ravens pretty much tank, and that's not happening. That's not happening. Other than that, anything else that you have before we get off air?
This was a quick one.
Huh?
Matthew
Oh,
Stafford is the MVP frontrunner, and we have to say, yees.
at this point, yeah. Thinking of the
He
context
deserves it too.
thinking of as to how the context of the league would be looking at it, how the voting would take place on
Or even
such.
about the season starting, bro. He was like, his back hurts. He's getting injections. And we're like, holy shit, Stafford's done, bro. And then Stafford finally makes 500 for the first time in his career. Finally over 500. Keeps delivering the ball downfield. And he's leading a team that most people did not expect to be at the top of the standings. To the top of the standings. I think, like, as much as I'd like to cake on May, I think that Stafford, through his body of work, through his leadership and everything, kind of gets a step above, where it's like, hey, maybe their numbers are close, but I'd rather give it to Stafford, knowing that this man is a fucking, in my opinion, first ballot Hall of Famer.
And key word, I mean, is body of work. Like everything that you just mentioned. I think that when we get into like the whole voting and everything, they are going to be looking at, well, he has won a Super Bowl before. Look at what he's doing now. Yeah, he's like pushing 40 doing this, and I think that this is the perfect, culmination for Stafford to ride off into the sunset.
And, well, I don't think he rides off, but it definitely gives him that final notch he needs to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think there was a question that he'd be a Hall of Famer, but I think now you could put him, especially with winning in the MVP this year, even if he doesn't win the title, because I mean, he fucking went from Detroit, the barren wasteland, goes to the Rams and wins the title like that. That to me is fucking like, that's a earth-shaking move. And then to consistently keep the Rams up there and take your career from a below 500 player, because you play with one of the worst franchises ever, and steadily keep yourself flying that high. Nah, bro. Like that to me is legendary. That's fucking legendary. That's playing in the mud and saying, fuck you guys, I'm doing my way. Because he stayed with Detroit a long ass time.
Let's see here. No, Brandon Cooks is not the solution to all of the Bills' problems at wide receiver. Leaves.
He hurts, bro. I really thought he'd be better off. That's a fucking hit or miss situation where you can go off at any time, but
like he'll definitely have some flashes, and we'll be like, oh, like he could still ball, he could still do it, but at the end of the day,
a desperation flex.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he has like age on his side, and the Bills still have like all the receivers that Josh has already built chemistry with. So there's that. Saints defense against Miami or Patriots defense this week against the Giants. Patriots. I'm sorry, there's just not a way that I can be like, yeah, you're going to go and start the Saints. The Saints did have a good showing against Atlanta that this last week.
I'll say this, like, it's a tough one because the matchup favors the Saints, in my opinion, but I think that the defense favors the Pats. They have some fucking legit ballers on defense. So I would go with the
Patriots have the Patriots all around have the better defense, the better talent defensively. The Saints up against Miami, we don't know what Miami team is going to show up. And we also don't know what New Orleans team will show up. So I'm just going to stay away from New Orleans in that respect. And I'll just trust
Saints to be in the Mendoza hunt. So.
Yeah, I'll trust who I feel feels a little bit more.
Remember, Pat's defense had an interception or they had a turnover for a score last week.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, very beautiful.
They're top 10 defense overall. They're top 6. They're number 6. And I am starting. See, now the Watson Boudier conversation is different because like I almost want to start Boudier just because I feel like that defensively Detroit could easily blank those fucking Green Bay DBs. I also question, can Green Bay sustain offensively against Detroit if Detroit really goes out there and starts playing with their hair on fire? Can Green Bay even put up more than fucking 10 points offensively? You know, this could be one of those situations where with Watson, you're relying on yards.
May screwed me in the booty last week. So there's that.
Crazy to start Devin Neal over Woody this week, right? Or is that a sneaky play? I'm sticking with Woody.
So I'll be honest with you. Neal could be better than Woody. That's in the realm of possibilities. But based on body of work, based on team, based on usage, it's hard to sit Woody for Neal when you've barely seen Neal play.
Exactly.
And the Saints ain't nothing to be fucking good about or write home about.
Exactly.
So
if it comes down between Woody getting me 15, 16, and Neal getting me 12.1, I'm gonna just take that you know, I'm just gonna take that little bit more with Woody. You know, it's just I have more to go off of with Woody. I have more to believe in with Woody. With Neal, that is a blind bet.
Believe he can fly.
Yeah, it's a blind bet. Other than that, cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Run Boys and Girls. What to do, dilly dilly. AMA tomorrow night, and then we are off for Thursday.
And Benson, boys, Hampton and Benson. I think we're back. All systems might be a go.
Take a step back. How about Devin Neal or Monangai? It would probably
go Neal over Monangai.
Yeah, I probably would go Neal at that point.
That's just a volume.
Yeah, it's just but that's only because of volume.
Touches. He can get a touchdown, but he just might not get enough touches to justify playing over a Neal who could suck so bad, but because he plays 80% of the snaps, gets enough volume to justify playing.
Agreed there. Other than that, cheers to me, cheers to you, all the Run Boys and Girls. What to do, dilly dilly. We love and appreciate y'all. Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
We thank you for
Yeah.